Many years ago, I came across this charismatic that was talking about 1 Corinthians 9:27, where Paul says, "But I keep under my body and bring it into subjection, lest that by any means, when I have preached to others, I myself should be a castaway." And it was pointed out that castaway is the same Greek word that is translated reprobate. And he was trying to make the point that, oh, well, see, Paul's worried about one day he could possibly become a reprobate. And a lot of people have the definition of a reprobate as being somebody that can't be saved. Well, this is all a bunch of mess, and the English and the King James straightens this out. And in the process of studying this, I went back into the Greek, looked at everything, and I made a whole big circuit. And the King James translators are absolutely correct by putting this as castaway instead of reprobate. But I was going to show you the whole thinking process. Now in 2 Corinthians 13:5-7, this is how we define reprobates. "Examine yourselves whether you be in the faith. Prove your own selves." Now that word prove in English has PRO in it. And the word prove in Greek is dokimazo, which means to put something to a test. So he's saying, put yourselves to a test. Know ye not your own selves how that Jesus Christ is in you, except you be reprobates. But I trust that you shall know that we are not reprobates. Now if you notice, there's this word reprobate that has PRO in it. That's the root of the word. The same root of the English word is PRO, prove. So reprobates. The Greek word there is adokimos, which means you've been subjected to dokimazo, the test, and you failed. So you're adokimos, which means you're reprobate. Okay. Verse 7. "Now I pray to God that you do no evil, not that we should appear approved." There's that PRO in English again, approved. The Greek word there is dokimos, which means you've been subjected to the test, dokimazo, and you passed. So you are approved, PRO. And then he says, "But that you should do that which is honest, though we be as reprobates." Now, you got three Greek words there, okay? You got the test, you got somebody that fails the test, and somebody that passes the test. In English, you got three English words with the same root, the PRO. Prove your own selves, the test. Reprobates, you failed. Approved, you passed. Okay? Now, in studying this out, in both Greek and English, the word reprobate is related to coinage or testing silver. Now, if you notice in Jeremiah 6:30 in the English, it says, "Reprobate silver shall men call them, because the Lord hath rejected them." Now, I found out something interesting as I was studying all this, studying how these words came about. Back in ancient times, you had people that would money changers, that every time when they had money pass through their hands, they would shave a little bit of the silver off the money. Okay, and of course, after you've had thousands of coins pass through your hands, you'd end up with a nice little pile of silver dust, which they would, they were skimming off the top. Now, if you've ever noticed in our American currency, even though it's not actually silver anymore, but it used to be back in the day, silver dollars, 50-cent pieces, quarters, and dimes have ridges on the outside of the coin. If you ever pick one up and look at it, the reason why these silver coins had ridges on them was to prevent people from shaving them. Because, if you notice the ridges are gone, you're like, oh, somebody's been shaving this coin. Okay. Now, there are two ways that a coin in ancient Roman times could be counterfeit. Okay. Number one, it could be completely fake. It was never real in the first place. and it was made of something that was not silver, but it made it look like silver. So it was a counterfeit, a fake, never real. Okay, when the Bible talks about reprobates, that's somebody who's fake. They're not saved. Okay, however, there's a second way that a coin could be found reprobate. It could be a genuine coin, authentic, issued by the Roman government, authentic coin. However, it had been shaved so many times that it's no longer the regulation weight. So it has to be taken out of circulation because it's not the regulation weight for whatever denomination of currency it is. Now that's what Paul's talking about. Look, that's in actual history. So you've got two ways somebody could be reprobate. Number one, they were fake, never real in the first place. Number two, they are real. However, something has happened to them that has caused them to be put on the shelf or taken out of currency. And that's why it says castaway in 1 Corinthians 9:27 and not reprobate, because the King James translators knew this and had enough sense to realize Paul was not talking about losing his salvation, or Paul was not talking about one day becoming unsavable or any of that idiotic stuff. Paul's talking about a genuine coin taken out of circulation because it's had something happen to it. So the King James fixes the Greek, and if you didn't know the Greek, you could figure this out on your own. It's only when other idiots bring up the Greek that the waters get muddied.